This is Larry McDowell with Daily News and Commentary from Christian Press. Dateline, Nashville, Tennessee, April the 7th, 2026. Today, the Tennessee Legislature passed a new congressional map splitting up the state's lone majority black district, being the first state to respond quickly to the Supreme Court's ruling last week, gutting the Voting Rights Act of 1965. That ruling allowed southern states who were previously required to be fair to minorities in their redistricting under the act to finally ignore it altogether. This new map carves up a Memphis district into three parts, adding rural areas to each part, dominated by Republicans. The Tennessee legislature is dominated by Republicans, and even many in the gallery began chanting if any Republican rose to object to the measure. Democrat members stood and walked out in protest, knowing it was a lost cause. One Democrat state representative stated, "Vote yes, you're telling everyone you're a racist." While the congressman at risk in Tennessee is a white man, it does water down the black vote so the Republicans can win. On December the 4th of last year, the Supreme Court ruled that Texas could redistrict the state midterm as long as it was based on party rather than race. However, the High Court did not take into account that much of the process included watering down heavy black and Latino areas who tended to vote Democrat. It was in effect a racial gerrymander with a wink to a party gerrymander. The final death knell to the 1965 Voting Act, especially Section 2, was the ruling that the district alignment allowed one district to have a black representation in Congress was a race-based redistricting. This was their interpretation at the High Court. And they stated it was unconstitutional. They have now overrode every precedent set in relation to the Voting Rights Act, handing former Jim Crow states the opportunity to go back to the good old days and get rid of the black representation in Congress and get rid of the Democrats in their state. Tennessee beat Louisiana to the punch, but the governor of Louisiana halted their primary after 48,000 votes were cast as soon as this Supreme Court decision was announced. So that nullified that vote, then set the legislature to draw up new redistricting to get rid of at least one, if not both, of the Democrat black representatives of that state. What makes this very unfair is that Louisiana is 1/3 black. Now here is my commentary. Trump, by stacking the court 6-3, has indeed kept his promise to make America great again. As long as you understand that MAGA is a dog whistle for making America white again, putting the whites back in charge, and bringing back just as much Jim Crow as Americans can stomach. This will not stand, and though it may gain Republican seats in Congress initially, what it will also do, despite watering down minority vote, is to make blacks and other minorities want to show up to the polls. It's going to make them angry. And when they do, they have been known to elect a black president twice. They can certainly be able to get rid of a racist old white president's power by showing up in now weakened Republican districts and take Republican seats away to dominate Congress. Remember, the strategy is to take voters from this Republican district and stick some of them over into the white district, the black district or the Latino district, so they can water it down a little bit and get more Republicans in there so they can take that district. The problem is, by taking them from here and putting them there, they are weakening this Republican, and this midterm is going towards the Democrats. that means that Republican could lose his district. Many Republican congressmen already raised the alarm. By taking my voters and putting them in another district, you're putting me at risk. Also, California and Virginia have already proven that Democrats can play that game too. Democratic states have also redistricted and gained more Democrat seats. And more are thinking about it. What goes around comes around. Democrats try to be fair. I mean, the state of California had a rule that the Republicans and Democrats would get together and be fair in districting. It was part of their law. They had to change the law with an election to do the same thing in California that the Texans did over there with the Republicans by bringing more Democrat seats back to California. So much for trying to play by the rules. Trump ordered Texas to do it and other states to do it. They did it. They're doing it. Sometimes the Democrats have learned finally they have to fight fire with fire. But that's just one man's opinion. But one who looks to God and God's Word as a minister of God and always asks, what would Jesus do? Certainly the party of billionaires and white supremacists versus the party that takes care of people's welfare and health, that's an easy decision. I reach out to my fellow Christians and ask them to be careful where you get your news. The deceiver is busy out there on Fox, Fox Network, Newsmax, on the internet. This is Larry McDowell for Christian Press.